You're standing at the open refrigerator at 11 o'clock at night. You're not hungry. You're not thirsty. You opened it out of some automatic impulse, and now you're just there, staring, for a full minute, maybe longer, and then you close it and go to bed and don't think about it. But here's what I want you to notice. That's not the first time this week that happened. That stopping, that blankness, that moment of just nothing. I made a free checklist for caregivers. It covers the first 48 hours after a cancer diagnosis. But there's a section in it specifically about you, not your loved one. It's in the description. I want you to read that section after this video, because today we're talking about something that nobody talked to me about until it was too late. Caregiver burnout doesn't arrive like a breakdown. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't wait until you have a moment to fall apart. It comes in pieces, weeks before the collapse, and it looks so much like holding it together that you miss it entirely. This is not a video about self-care tips. This is not a video telling you to take more bubble baths or learn to say no. This is not a video about asking for help, though we can talk about that another time. This is a video about the specific signs your system is failing, weeks before you know it's failing, so that maybe you can catch it before it catches you. There's something I want to tell you about a moment that happened to me about 6 weeks before I fully broke down. We'll get there. But first, I need to tell you about the weeks before that. The first sign is so quiet you'll probably dismiss it when I say it. It's a delay. Not a big one. A few seconds. A half beat. Someone says something funny and you laugh. But there's a lag. Like signal latency on a video call. You used to be faster. You used to be first. Now the laughter arrives just slightly after it should. Like your brain is running on a slower connection than it used to. You notice this with decisions too. Small ones. What to order for dinner, which route to take, whether to answer a text now or later. Things that used to be instant now require a moment you didn't used to need. And because you're not making catastrophically wrong decisions, because you're still functioning, you put it down to tiredness and move on. But here's what that delay actually is. Your emotional processing is running out of bandwidth. Your mind is allocating everything, every resource, every cycle to the caregiving, to the appointments, the medications, the conversations, the watching, the waiting. And the things that used to happen automatically, they're now competing for leftover capacity. That lag is not tiredness. It's your system telling you that something has to give. The second sign is what I call the automation. And this one is harder to catch because it mimics competence so perfectly. You start executing your life instead of living it. You complete the tasks, you make the calls, you cook the food, you show up, you answer the questions, and you do it all on a kind of autopilot so smooth that nobody, including you, would know the difference. Someone asks how you're doing and you say, "I'm fine." And I mean this literally. Before you finished hearing the question, you didn't process it. You didn't check in with yourself. You just ran the automatic response and moved on. The free checklist in the description has a section on exactly this, what to watch for in yourself in the first weeks. Worth reading before you close this. And here's the thing about the automation. It feels like efficiency. It feels like you figured out how to get through the days. But what's actually happening is that you've stopped being present in your own life. You've become a very functional ghost. You're allowed to notice that you're allowed to name it. That's not weakness. That's the first honest thing you'll have let yourself feel in weeks. Here's the part nobody tells you. The third sign is the disappearance of small things. And I mean small, not the big joys. You've already let those go. You know that. I mean the tiny ones, the ones so minor you wouldn't even think to mourn them. The specific pleasure of coffee in the morning. The way a certain song used to make you feel something. A joke that would have landed 3 months ago. A sunset you would have noticed. These things stop registering. Not because you're depressed, though burnout and depression can look alike and sometimes overlap, but because the part of you that notices small pleasures has been operating on fumes for so long that it's simply gone quiet, like a pilot light that's flickered out. You walk past the song and don't hear it. You drink the coffee and it's just hot liquid. And because nothing actively bad is happening in these moments, Because you're not in pain, you don't flag it. You just move through. But this is the most dangerous sign on this list because it's the most invisible. When the delay comes, you notice it. When the automation kicks in, something in you registers the wrongness. But when the small things disappear, when the capacity for small joy quietly exits the room, most caregivers don't notice for weeks because there's nothing to notice. There's just absence, and absence doesn't make noise. And then there's the body. Your body has been talking to you this whole time. You've been very good at not listening. You wake up tired, not sleepy, tired. The distinction matters. Sleepy means you need rest. Tired, this kind of tired, means your reserves are empty and sleep is not filling them back up. You're waking up already at a deficit. You forget to eat, not dramatically. You just don't get hungry. Or you get hungry and then get pulled into something, and 2 hours pass and you register somewhere distant that you haven't eaten, and then something else happens and suddenly it's 8 o'clock. Your jaw is tight, has been for a while. You notice it now in this moment because I said it. It's been tight for 3 weeks, and the 3 o'clock wake-ups, eyes open, nothing wrong, no nightmare, no sound, just awake in the dark with a low hum of something you can't name. You lie there for 40 minutes and then fall back to sleep and wake up for the day already behind. These are not random symptoms. They are your nervous system in sustained overdrive, running out of the capacity to regulate itself. Your body has been asking for help for a long time. It's been very polite about it. It will stop being polite eventually. Earlier I said I wanted to tell you about something that happened to me 6 weeks before I fully broke down. Here it is. I was driving to the hospital, routine drive. I'd done it 40 times. And somewhere on the highway I thought, did I eat today? And I went back through the day in my head trying to find evidence of a meal. And I couldn't. Not definitively. And I thought, and kept driving. That was the moment I should have stopped. Not pulled over, not had a crisis. Just stopped and said something is wrong and I have to take that seriously. But I didn't. Because I was functioning, because the car was moving, and the destination was clear, and there was a reason to get there. 6 weeks later, I stopped being able to function. Not dramatically, quietly, completely, for about 3 days. And those 3 days were inevitable. They had been building for months. Every sign I've described to you today was there. So let me leave you with 3 things. First, these signs are real. The lag, the automation, the disappearance of small joys, the body's quiet revolt. They are not you being dramatic. They are not you being weak. They are your system telling you, in the only language it has, that you are running out. Second, you are allowed to take this seriously before you collapse. You do not have to earn the right to care for yourself by proving you can't function without it. You're allowed to notice the signs now, while you can still do something about them. And if what I've described sounds like something that needs more than a video, please talk to a therapist or counselor. I'm not a medical professional. This is my experience. Yours may need more support than I can give you here. And third, this one I want you to keep. The reason these signs go unnoticed is not because you're oblivious. It's because you are so focused on someone you love that you've reorganized your entire interior life around them. The burnout is the shadow of the love. You cannot have one without the risk of the other. You are not failing. You are burning because you have been on fire for a very long time. Which of these signs did you recognize in yourself? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and sometimes the comment section here is where people say something out loud for the very first time. The free checklist is in the description. There's a section in it specifically for you, not for your loved one. Read that part first. New videos every Tuesday and Friday for the people holding everything together,